Hey guys, it's me. It's Queen Auset-Heru, and thank you so much for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, pass it on to somebody else who might like it too, and drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you have time, please stick around because I got two really cool comments that I'm going to read after I finish this video. And if you want a reading done, if you would like to talk to me on social media, if you have a question, a general question for Asking Aquarius, if you would like to be one of my patrons on Patreon, if you want to know how to email me for a reading, all my information is underneath this video. Okay? I try to cut and paste it under every video. Now, we're going to talk today about pettiness online. Someone said to me that they were kind of confused because they felt as though the past like 4 months at least, the situation online has been real petty. There have been stupid stuff happening on YouTube, petty drama getting, anybody who's been keeping up with drama getting. There's been petty drama getting. There's been TikTok stuff going on. There's been a lot of pettiness online. And I want to say, I think that there is often a lot of pettiness online because one of the things that I've noticed is that there are a lot of trolls online. And a troll is just a person who hangs out online and starts trouble, says mean, nasty things to other people for oftentimes no reason. They just lonely, bored, hurting, negative people who get off on trying to harm other people. And this is why I don't argue with people online. I don't even respond to negative comments. I just delete them and move on because that's what they want. They want to get under your skin. They want to upset you. They want you to argue with them. They want to ruin your day. That's what they're there for. And many times they're the most miserable person you ever want to meet. So not only am I not giving them the satisfaction of messing up my happy day, I'm also not dealing with that bullshit. You can take all of that and shove it where the sun don't shine. So I see a lot of that online, unfortunately, because remember, I go in a lot of chat rooms, I go on a lot of Instagram lives, I do a lot of stuff like that. I use the internet a lot, and I use it for fun, for entertainment, for business, to get ideas, to put out merch. I'm an affiliate for Amazon, so sometimes I put out links for Amazon. I put out cards of the day sometimes. I do all kind of stuff like that, so I use it a lot. And the pettiness level has gone up. I will give you that. It's always been there, but it has gone up. So the person was asking me why. Well, one of the things you have to understand, the heavens were kind of crazy for a little while there. They still are, actually. Mercury was retrograde, Venus was retrograde, and a couple other things was going on too. Other retrogrades and all kind of other stuff was going on. And if you don't know about astrology, if you don't know about this kind of stuff, you don't know what's going on. So it just seems to me like, you're looking around like, why are people acting strange? All of these heavenly bodies have an influence on the earth. The same way the moon affects the tide, the moon affects the water in a human being's body. These other heavenly bodies also affect the things that are on the planet. So when things are going on up in the cosmos, even if you don't know what that is, you can tell by how human beings are acting. During times of great violence or great stress or great war, great peace, no matter what's going on, you can often, almost always, tie it back to what's going on in the zodiac. That's why a lot of people know what's going to happen before it happens. A lot of astrologers were predicting that Barack Obama, they were predicting that Barack Obama would win the presidential election. At the time, I was not so certain. I was like, for real? I loved him, but I didn't know everybody else would love him too. And that's what the astrologers were saying. They were like, yeah, he's going to make it. He's going to do it. This is going to happen. And for anybody who's outside of the United States, this was monumental because he was the first president of African descent, period, that we know of. because I've heard some rumors that certain presidents weren't all one thing. Like there's a rumor that Abraham Lincoln's mother was African American, things like that. Things you can't prove, but you hear the rumors. But Barack looked the part. You know, we knew what his descent was, knew his family tree and everything. So I was like, they're gonna vote in this man. I was like happy about it, but I was shocked. And astrologers were the ones who were saying before it happened, years before, even before Barack even ran, it was some astrologers saying we're going to have a non-traditional president next time, either a person of color or a woman or something like that. And it turned out to be Barack. And this was years, 10 years, 15 years. You can go back and see astrologers making predictions about what's going to happen. You know, I mean, they go all the way. They were talking about 2020 back like in 2000. And from what I understand, it was ancient astrologers talking about what was going to be happening now based on astrology. So if you really are into the zodiac and really into the astrology, it's not just, oh, I'm Aquarius, oh, I'm Cancer. It's not just the sun signs. That's the tip of the iceberg. The sun signs is just the tip. If you really get into it, you can actually predict world events based on where the heavenly bodies are. So I'm not that good at it. I know how to do a birth chart. I know how to do a natal chart, and I can tell you all about you. But as far as like all that extra stuff, I'll read it too or check it out on YouTube because it is fascinating. And they have people on YouTube that will study the charts of, you know, of the sky for the next month and tell you some of the things that may occur. And many times they are spot on. So because of the heavens and whatever they were doing, and Mercury just went direct recently and all that kind of stuff going on, that's why pettiness was high. When Mercury is retrograde, communication fails or is more difficult. So you see a lot more arguments amongst people because misunderstandings are the norm. Also, you see old things come back. So exes come back to talk. They want to communicate. Things like that happens. And so you do see a lot of that kind of pettiness happening during that time. That's why a lot of people dread Mercury retrograde, because they're like, who gonna come back this time that I gotta talk to? Or what fight am I gonna get in? So those are two of the normal things that happen during this time. So that is why you see that. Also, it's the time that we're in. Look at the effect that is going on. You have all of this stuff going on with the virus that shall not be named. And in the United States, you have a lot of unrest because of people's responses to that global, global illness. And you also have a lot of like racial stuff happening in the United States. And this stuff was not new. This stuff has been brewing and going on ever since Africans were taken to the States. I mean, you could take it all the way back to the 1400s. These problems always existed, but some people try to act like they didn't, like they're new problems, and it's like, nah. You can see racial tension in the United States all the way back to the beginning, all the way to the day that the first Africans set foot. And I don't even know, like I'm trying to remember the dates, because I remember the 1400s. I remember the 1600s being huge dates as far as exploration, and then of course the slave trade, and we call it the Great Ma'afa, the Great Disaster, all of that going on. So between I'm gonna say 14, end of 15, all the way up until the Civil War, you could see a great deal of it. And then after the Civil War, it continued, and it just continues. It just grows and it changes. You see lynchings throughout time. You see negative energy. You see all kind of stuff going on as far as race relations are concerned. And not just black people and white people, but all kinds of different peoples. I was talking to somebody, an Asian American, and she was telling me how she felt like she was treated differently than her European counterparts at her school. So it's like you can see it in a number of different places, little microaggressions, and most of the energy is very covert. So it's not all right now, it's very overt. You see very direct, demonstrative, kind of things. But most of the time it's very covert, it's very sneaky, it's very beneath the surface, and people can pretend like it's not happening. The rest of us that are experiencing, we know what's happening, and we're telling other people, and they're saying we're crazy and that's not happening. So we're all just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Right now, you just see it because a lot of this stuff is overt. So you see it, boom, like right in your face. So that's why you're going to see a lot more pettiness online. You have these petty people, you have this petty energy, you have this negativity coming. You have some people, I saw people online arguing about wearing a mask. And whether or not you believe in wearing a mask is fine. That's on you. I personally wear mine, and I think that people should wear them to protect each other, but some people don't want to wear it. Okay, fine and well. But if you're not going to wear it, why are you online arguing with people who believe it? If they believe it and think it's a good idea, why are you having screaming, caps locks, arguments with people on Facebook at 2 o'clock in the morning? If you're not going to wear it, just don't wear it. And what kills me about these people is not only are they not going to wear it, they're going to diss you for wearing it. And then they're going to go places where they know they're not allowed to be without it and then start trouble. And I'm just like, if you don't want to wear it, just quietly fall back and just don't wear it. You don't have to go to these places. You can have delivery. They'll bring most of the stuff you need nowadays can be delivered. So you don't have to go out, and go through all that if that's the stance that you want to take. So I've seen very nasty arguments online, and it's escalated. Like, I have been seeing it, and it just keeps escalating. And around the time of the illness that will not be named, around the time that became a really big deal is when it first got real bad. And it had been getting, like, I noticed that for the past couple years since the last presidential election in the United States, I had noticed the increasing the tension online. I noticed that. And then when this whole thing happened, the illness, it got worse. The racial tension, it got worse because it became more overt. So it was underneath the covers, and then the covers got blown off. So now you see all of this pettiness online, and people are asking me, like, is this unusual? And I'm like, nah, this has very good reason to be happening. Now, the question you should be asking yourself is, what can you do about it? Because this pettiness online probably won't end until the world is less stressed. So when the illness that shall not be named calms down, when there's either a vaccine or it goes away or something happens with it, you'll see less stress on people. Because remember, people are suffering because of this. Even people who, aren't affected by the illness itself could be affected by not having a job. Whole industries, people who once were on top, who might have owned a gym or have owned a cruise line or something like that. These people are now not making any money or making very little money. So when the stresses, these are stressors, according to psychologists. When finances are stressors, illness is stressors, tension, racial tension, stressors, any kind of like problems, like you see a lot of like assault of the sexual nature, a lot of accusations of that. And all of these are stressors that happen during times of great unrest. So you're going to see a lot of this until these stressors calm down. Now, the illness that shall not be named will eventually calm down. It calms down. Everywhere else it's been, it has calmed down. And I really truthfully believe that it would have calmed down in the States a long time ago if people had closed down number one, and had been cooperating, figured out some kind of way, okay, this is what we're going to do, and we're all going to do it. Because that's what all the other countries did, and all the other countries are starting to open back up and are starting to operate in normal now. So I'm like, well, we should have did, the states should have did the same thing. Hello. But of course, we all see why that didn't happen. So as these stressors start to calm down, you'll see the pettiness go down. It won't go away. Trolls got a troll. They're not going away. But some people who normally would not be that stressed out, some people who normally wouldn't be arguing and fighting, some people who normally wouldn't be as nasty, because some people are really nasty right now, some of those people won't be as bad. Their stressors will go down and all of those things will come back to a normal level. Hopefully by the time they go back to a normal level, some of these problems that have come to the surface will have been dealt with. I guess we'll see. So that's the pettiness online. Now, what can you do about it other than waiting for the stressors to go down? The other thing you can do is not engage in it. That's what I do. Don't engage. If a person wants to be petty, a person wants to be an ass, they want to start an argument. People try to start arguments with me all the time. Just the other day, I'll never forget this, and then I'm going to let you guys go. Just the other day, a woman was in the comments section, and we were talking about terms. And she said to me, check your thesaurus. Why would I check my thesaurus for a term that I made up? Like, huh? And I didn't say that to her. I didn't say nothing at all. I just stopped talking. That's all you got to do. When people get stupid, just stop talking. Let them go talk to themselves. I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with you about a term that I made up. Check what thesaurus. Up here, this is the thesaurus. I'm the one that made it up. So I just was like, I'm not even going to explain that or have this argument with her. I'm going to let her just have all of that. Because at the end of the day, I don't know her and I don't care. And that's the truth about many of these situations. Many of these people, some of them you do know because they're your friends and family and you're going to have to deal with those situations. But many of these people are strangers that are not doing nothing for you. So sitting there arguing with them at 2 a.m. is foolish. Now, let's take a look at our first comment. Regina Hall said, why the hell would he even be friends with any of his exes if he's trying to be in a serious relationship? My belief is that the only relationship you should have with an ex is a co-parenting one if need be. If you're trying to be in a serious relationship with somebody else. I agree 100%. I'm with you. I'm right here with you. I know that there are times when people have friendships with their exes. I know that few and far between. I'm going to give it like 2%. 2% of the time I know somebody who has a healthy friendship with their ex. In most cases, they're just holding on just in case, or it's a codependency in most cases. But I'm going to give them that 2%. The other times, if you're co-parenting, you should have a friendly, a cooperative relationship with that co-parent. All day. I agree with that all day. But if you're trying to be in a serious relationship, keeping all your exes, especially a lot of these people keep all of them. So they got several. And the Cancers are really good for this, but they're not the only ones. They have several exes that they keep. And every time they get with a new person, it's a problem. So I agree with you 100%. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. Y'all broke up for a reason. What are you holding on for? Come on. Kristen Osada. Kristen has, let's see what Kristen said. Kristen says she's done. I can't imagine completely changing everything in my life in order to break ties with someone I was dating. Well, at least someone I didn't live with anyway. Yeah, we're talking about this Aquarius who disappeared. Like, she just took her stuff and just disappeared from this relationship. And homeboy can't even find her. And they weren't living together. She just was very upset with him. She said that she was tired of his behavior, him and his exes. And she was just like, I'm done. And she left and she never came back. It's been a while. It's only been weeks or so now, but he's hoping that she'll contact him or something. And I'm like, dog, don't hold your breath. So yeah, she changed everything. She changed her apartment. She shut down her social media. She doesn't, everything that he knows her to do, she hasn't been doing. And he stopped by her friend's house a few times looking for her and has not seen her. So I told him to leave it alone. I feel like he lost her. So it is what it is. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and come back soon. I have a lot more to say. See you later.